Okay,
Cool. All right. Awesome. Okay, we'll kick it off. All right, guys, we're back. Jonathan Rears here and Mayor Cohen on the Baseline Podcast. We got a very special guest for our 4th episode of Season 3, Rawle Alkins. Thank you for coming, man.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for getting me out here.
Yes,
Big
sir.
shout out to Josh. Josh is the first one that told me about you guys.
Awesome.
And we wanted to do it a couple months ago, but, I'm big on timing. And I think when he first told me about it, we had a big loss. We lost like the night before, and I was just thinking about what we were going to talk about, and the loss is on my mind. I'm back now with a big win. We
there
had
we
a
go.
big win
That's
against
what we need.
Haifa. So I'm here
Yes,
with a
sir.
big win against Haifa.
So
And yeah.
we're in good spirits tonight. That's good.
Yes,
That's
sir.
good. So I'm just going to kind of give a little background on you. You're from New York,
Yes, sir.
right? Brooklyn, you said.
Brooklyn.
And you went to Arizona, where you played 2 years there. Yeah, and then you declared for the draft after your freshman year, decided to stay for another year.
Yeah.
And you went to Arizona, and then you declared for the 2018 draft. For some reason, didn't get drafted, and then signed with the Chicago Bulls, right? You had a 2-way contract there, and then you made your way over to Portugal for a year, right?
That was yeah.
Portugal for
Yeah.
a year, and then you went back to the G League,
Yeah.
to the Raptors,
Yeah.
right? And then you had your 2 different teams in Germany,
Yeah. So yep.
right?
Yeah.
Then back to the G League for the Jazz. After Salt Lake, you made your way to Israel to play for Nestiona for the first time.
Yeah.
And then you went to Puerto Rico, Greece, and now you're back here playing for Galilion.
It's
Did I
crazy.
get that right?
You got that right. It's like every country you said, it had me like reminisce like that fast. Like as soon as you said the country, I'm thinking about a lot of games, a lot of everything.
Wow. So we'll cover everything. We really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, we're excited to get started. I mean, we had Jalen LeCue, another New York guy, on just a few weeks ago, and he told us a lot about what it's like playing in New York and the basketball culture in New York. Now, we know you're very familiar with that. Being, from the Bronx, that identity of a basketball player, how do you think that helped you, your identity of where you're from, how that toughness maybe instilled in you early on in your career, kind of maybe even before you got overseas and can show that to other people, but how did that help you with your really beginning in basketball?
Yeah, well, I'm from Brooklyn. You said the Bronx.
The Bronx.
I'm Brooklyn.
I had that later as a
It's
trivia
okay.
question.
No, but so Brooklyn is the best borough for basketball to me. A lot of legends came out of Brooklyn, New York. Lance Stevenson, you got Stephon Marbury, a lot of the GOATs. They came out of Lincoln High School. I played last year with Isaiah Whitehead. He's from New York, from Brooklyn too. So it was good to be teammates with a fellow New Yorker. But to answer your question, it's crazy, man. Coming from New York and Brooklyn, you have that dog mindset. I call it savage life, but savage life to me is like that mentality when you step on the court and you just feel like you got to be confident. It's a difference between confidence and arrogance. I walk around like you got to walk around like you own the place, but like in the confident and humble demeanor. I don't know how to explain, like, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
Definitely makes sense. Yeah. Just walk around confident and be humble at the same time.
Yeah, I seen a quote. It was like, sometimes you have to be the only one to believe in yourself and be delusional enough to get what you want. And I feel like being from New York and that savage mindset that I'm talking about, you have to be delusional in the things that you believe in, because if I don't believe in myself, who else is going to believe in me?
I hear that. When you first went to high school at the Crisis King School, right?
Yeah.
This is one of like the powerhouses of basketball in New York. I mean, legends upon legends go to this school.
Yeah.
So tell us about the process of being able, when you learned you were going to be able to play there, how that kind of worked. When you're working with high schools, how does that process work? Like getting, I guess, recruited to play for this high school.
Yeah.
And was that a goal of yours growing up playing to play for this legendary spot?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is, I grew up with Kadeem Carrington from Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Brooklyn too. We're from the same city, Canarsie, and we had the same trainer. His name is Keith. Shout out to Keith. He used to train us, and back at that time, Kadeem was in. He's older than me by I think 2 years, so he was in high school and I was in 8th grade, and we used to train together. And I was a good player, but nobody knew about me. Like, I was unheard of. Nobody really knew about me. I just, like, had that self-confidence that I can play with the top guys like Kadeem and, like, Isaiah. And my trainer, Keith, it was high school time. He was, like, deciding what school to put me in. He was like, I'm going to put you in Bishop Loughlin with Kadeem. You could be his teammate. And Kadeen, I know he will tell you this. Like, I told him in front of the trainer, in front of him, I said, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd rather go against him. And I was like, I'd rather go against him. And the trainer liked that. He was like, he liked that I was believing in myself and I was, trying to be competitive. Fast forward, he was like, okay, I'll introduce you to the rival school, Christ the King. They're rivals. One is sponsored by Kobe, one is sponsored by LeBron. Christ the King is LeBron, Kobe is Bishop Lachlan. And he introduced me to one of the coaches there, and he was like working me out, testing my game, and he liked what he saw. We played against a couple high school guys. I was a freshman, and the coach, he liked what he saw, and then he was like, we're gonna offer him a scholarship off of like that pickup game. So then, I went to Christ the King, and the rest is history. We won 3 championships in a row against Bishop Lachlan. It was crazy against Kadena, but it was crazy, a crazy rivalry.
What was that like, those matchups with him?
Man, it was like 40-40. Like he would get 40, I get 40.
Y'all guarding each other?
Guarding each other, talking competitive. It was crazy, man, because I didn't know how it was going to turn out when I was in 8th grade, how the story was going to be, but for us, like, it was like I should try to join the top player in the city and get the recognition he's going to get, like being next to him, But I wanted to prove myself and show that I can play against the best,
That's amazing. Did you end up playing Kadeen in Naciona or?
Yeah, but in Jerusalem, I played them this year too. In Jerusalem,
what are those matchups?
We played them next game. We played them on the 16th. It's crazy. We played them again on the 16th. I'm happy with a lot of things he's doing. He's playing great. He's an Israeli now.
Right.
He got the Israeli passport.
He just signed another year with Jerusalem. It's big
so
stuff.
He's doing a lot of good things, and I'm excited to play against him. All the big clubs, every club in Israel, any game, I'm excited to play against.
That's amazing to hear. So just taking it back a little and staying with your upbringing, because I'm really curious. So doing a little research, I watched this cool documentary that you had. So you grew up one of 7, if I'm correct.
No. I'm the only child.
You're the only child?
Yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah.
I'm over 2.
My grandma, she had 9 girls, and they all had all boys. But I'm the only child of my mom.
So was basketball big in your family? Was this something that other people have done? Or is this kind of when you kind of jumped into the scene and realized that this was it, you were amazing at this? Was it something that was pushed by your family that had a lot of support for you? Was sport has always been in your family, or something that you kind of took up by yourself?
I started playing basketball when I was 5 years old. My mom, she put me in like an after-school program. That's actually where I met Coach Keith, that trains me in Kadeen. But it's this club. It's called Packplex. It's like a complex with pools. You have a weight room and you have a basketball court. And in the summer they have basketball camps. So my mom, when she goes to work, she used to take me there, and like I fell in love with basketball. After that, she put me in like the younger teams, and then I started getting better and better and like developing.
Amazing.
Cool.
So that process throughout high school, being known, I'm sure everywhere, as a top recruit, number 1 guy, and bringing this attitude that took you later in your career to Arizona and playing there. How is it the adjustment from being, the guy when you're playing in high school, and as you said before, you're dropping 40 and you have these kind of legendary matchups, to kind of understand more of a role when you're playing for Arizona and the role you had for that team, and that understanding of taking maybe a step back from some of the things you do and stepping forward and other things you do. And tell us a little bit about that, because you were the guy for so long, and then having to learn a new system and understand everything that had to go with that.
Yeah, that system and that taking a step back is why I went to Arizona, because when I did my visit in Arizona, they were going, my head coach, Coach Miller, they were going to go for their 50th home win in a row. And I took my visit, sold-out crowd. They're going against Oregon. It was a crazy game. Oregon lost the game, and in the crowd, it felt like the world ended. It was like I felt like the crowd lost with us. Like they feel like it's like a team, a family. So when I talked to the coach after the game, he was speechless. He was like, honestly, we usually win all of our home games, and with happy vibes after the game, and when I take you out to eat, but it was a tough loss here. But I hope you felt the energy. But one thing I'll tell you, with team success comes individual success. he was like, there's a lot of guys that go to these big schools and they score 20, 30, 40 points a game, and they lose and no one talks about them. But at our school, you have something to play for. You don't have to put up those huge numbers to get to where you want to go. And that's why he said, with team success come individual success. You see guys like Villanova. No one really knew about Vincenzo before the tournament. He blew up in the tournament, and then now the rest is history. But it happens a lot. But I think that, like you said, that step back, that goal, understanding the bigger picture, was the reason why I went to Arizona.
That's for sure. I mean, you brought up a great example with Villanova. I mean, all those guys
all of
just
them
knew
do
how
well.
to play their role. That's why they were so successful. But just taking it back one more step, one more time, in New York, right? You said that you also played on the same AAU team as Jalen LeCue. Just he was younger than you.
He was on the younger division, the
Right.
Rens, the New York Rens.
So what was it like picking your AAU team, and what was AAU ball different competitively than your high school ball, and what would you like more about each of those different
AAU,
atmospheres?
Yeah, AAU. It was kind of like the Christ the King, the family. They had the New York Rens, so they were like together. So I stayed loyal to the New York Rens. I stayed Adidas my whole career. Like you have guys that play Under Armour, and you have guys that play Nike. Like they just play all three.
Mm-hmm.
With me, I was only doing the Adidas events. I'm a loyal guy, so I like to, like, if they do right by me, I'll do right by them. There was a lot of teams trying to get me to play for them, even for a weekend, like do like all that type of stuff. But I was like, I'm just a New York Rens. But you playing 3 games in one day. I looking back at it now, I can't believe my body was doing that. Like I get tired after like 1 hour of practice. But now we playing 3 games. We was playing 3 games. 30 minutes, the whole game, like you're playing the whole game, 3 games in one day in the AAU, and it's more of a pickup ball style versus high school and Christ the King. It's like more like strategy and like tactic.
Mm-hmm. That New York crowd goes crazy for the AAU games.
Man, it's crazy. You gotta they're gonna call you out. You got a commentator that's gonna call you nicknames and everything. He's gonna commentate the whole game live. Like it's crazy.
That's crazy. Did you have any like one day that you remember from AAU that like stands out? Nah.
I mean, just winning championships. Those are the main things that I was trying to be known as a player, a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
And then taking it back to Arizona, you had your first year. You played very well. You filled your role and you played amazing. And you decided to declare for the draft. What happened that you decided to rescind that and go to Arizona for another year?
When I went to college, my freshman year in college, when I entered the draft, you weren't allowed to have an agent. So when I didn't have an agent, it's hard to get intel and like get all this intel that you're doing. So when I was doing these workouts with teams, I have no agent talking on my behalf. So when I'm talking to the GM and I'm asking them like after the workout, I'm like, what do you think? Like, you think I should stay? You think I should go? You have some teams that's like, you have a great chance to stay, and we love your game. We like what you're doing. And then like every workout, you forget that there's 30 teams in the NBA. So after every workout, you don't know like if everyone's opinion is the same. So I had a bad workout one time. No, I wouldn't say bad, but not at my best, not what I thought I was like capable of. And then after, I'm talking to the team, and I say like, so what do you think? Like, because I was on a deadline. When you're testing the waters in college as a freshman, well, back when I was a freshman, with no agent, you have a deadline to decide if you want to stay in the draft or if you want to go back to school. So it sucks because I was rushing these teams like with their decision a month before the actual draft. I'm asking them like, what do you think? Some teams probably don't even know their top 5, like who they want to pick. But I had that bad workout, and then the team was telling me based on what they saw in that moment, and it was in my mind a lot. But I remember leaving that workout and getting on the phone call with Rich Paul. He called me, and he was like, honestly, it doesn't matter where you get drafted, as long as you like find the right team that's gonna believe in you and let you play your game. And in my mind, I was hearing what he was saying, and I was hearing what all these other agents were saying, but I was trying to be top 10, top 15. I want to hear, like, I wasn't hearing the things I wanted to hear. and ended up trying to I made the decision because my coach, Coach Miller, was calling me. He was making calls every day, trying to like decide what I was doing, if they need to recruit more guys, or if that's the thing. When you testing the waters, you put in two people in like chaos because the coaches don't know if you're coming back, so they don't know if they should sign another 2-man or 3-man, or like my agents don't know what to tell teams,
Right. It made it hard then. So who is there any guys that are like guiding you? Any like family?
You have family, but and like my cousin Rodney, he was like we were coordinating these workouts, but even then I don't know, like these teams, they would tell, like I would talk to them, and then like it's one team's decision, and then you have another team's decision, and it's like you don't have the relationships. My cousin we didn't have the relationships as like all the other agents with these teams,
Obviously, yeah.
to get a real answer on what I should have done. Looking back at it though, because at the combine, I remember my freshman year at the combine, it was like 30 interviews. I did so many interviews in the combine with these teams.
Yeah.
And the next year, following year after, it was shorter. And, I didn't notice the difference. I was in the green room too my freshman year. I was invited to the green room, but I didn't notice because I have no agent. So I don't know these stuff that they're doing for me. And then my sophomore year, it's like I'm seeing everything now. And like I'm seeing all these guys. Oh, he was there in the green room, and then this happened. Like, but I didn't know what the green room was. I didn't know until. But I was just taking these pictures, thinking that this is what I was like supposed to do, just like everyone else. And but everything happens for a reason.
Right,
so
for sure. It's crazy how much it's changed now. Like now you have an agent in high school, no?
Yeah,
it's
in college
wild.
and high school, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, especially at these times with the guiding through NIL and all that, you have someone holding your hand the whole time. But you could also say that the opposite argument. It's hard for these guys to find someone that they can trust. And I was just, I saw something that Jaylen Brown was talking about, how he had an agent that was asking for, 5% of his salary, which isn't what an agent would ask for. But from his understanding, with his experience, he chose to do it without an agent. But that is so difficult for so many players that don't have those resources that everybody has. So it's very interesting, and to see how it's changed is quite amazing.
Yeah, Jaylen, everyone coming out of college knew he was a top 3 pick.
Yeah,
so
it's easier for him.
3 teams,
right.
Yeah, it was good for him. But I'm happy for him too. That's my guy too. I'm cool with him too.
Sure.
I'm happy he's doing a lot of good things.
Yeah, going back into your second year, did your coach going crazy? He was like excited to have you back, and like what was the atmosphere going back?
It was crazy. They did like a whole press conference when I went back to Arizona. They did a press conference. It was like all the media, fans, and it was just me and the coach, Coach Miller, and he was just like, he was happy to have me back, and he has big roles for me this coming season. And then it was great. We started out preseason number 1 going into college, and then injuries happened. I got hurt to start the season. It was pretty tough.
Nice.
Very interesting. Yeah. As we see a lot of these guys who eventually come to play overseas, a lot of things they're learning when they're moving through this process, that they have some veteran, someone who has done it before. So besides for family, did you have someone at that time that you were in touch with, whether through Arizona? Were they able to give you this, support system and structure of understanding what you're supposed to do after you finish your time at Arizona? Did they have individuals talking to you about playing overseas or playing in different countries? Or is it a little bit there, when they graduate, you're on your own?
No, I mean, at that time it's different for us because we weren't allowed to have agents, and coaches weren't trying to sway players to agents, So it's kind of like they let you give you freedom. They give you freedom on who you want to sign with and who you want to talk with, and on your future. You got some guys in our school and our team that they weren't trying to play basketball after college. They were trying to, do some business stuff or like own real estate, do all types of things, So depending on your path in your career, is they have all the resources that I wanted. If I wanted any help with that, I think they would have helped me.
So once you declared for the draft after your second year, and surprisingly you didn't get drafted, did you eventually sign an agent after that? And then you were
I was signed to an agent that whole process. The second year, my second year, I was signed to an agent. Just ended up I didn't get drafted.
Right. And what kind of, at that time, were you getting overseas offers as well as the NBA offers, or were the overseas offers obviously not as intriguing when you're getting those NBA offers coming out of college?
I think for me as a kid, I was always my dream was to be in the NBA. So coming out of college and when I didn't get drafted, I wasn't thinking right away overseas. I was still thinking, what's the next step? So after the draft, I had a draft party. It was crazy. I had a party, and when I didn't get drafted and it didn't happen for me right away, it was a tough moment and it was a sad day. But I had right after the draft, I had like 30 minutes. It was like 6 teams that called my agent and asked me about summer league. What if I want to use and like they had this thing called E10s, exhibit 10s.
Mm-hmm.
And they were offering me that type of stuff right away after the draft. And I was talking with my agent, and I was asking his opinion. What does he think? And he was like, all these teams except one team could have drafted you. He said Toronto Raptors is the only team that didn't have a draft pick. And then he was like, they love you a lot. They like you a lot. Messiah, the GM, he likes you. So I was like, let's go with Toronto, And then Toronto, I got out there like 2 days after the draft. They put me in a hotel. I was training with the guys, like the players, like the players on the actual team. And they treated me like a family, like it was home. And I was there with them 2 weeks before Summer League. And then we flew out to Vegas together from Toronto. It was nice, man. It was a great vibe. The coach, Nick Nurse, it was his first year as a head coach. So he coached the Summer League team. So it was big for us because that's like a good chemistry, like with the team, and like he's like giving, and he believed in me, and he was letting me play my game. I had a big game in the playoffs, 25-10, I think, against the Hornets, and then we won and advanced to like the semifinals, and I think from there they started like a lot of teams started offering 2-way contracts.
Mm-hmm.
It was you had the Chicago Bulls, you had the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then the Raptors, they told us that, they love my game, but they just wanted everybody to come in and earn their spot on the roster. So they offered me an E10. They offered everyone an Exhibit 10 contract. And I think it was like me, Chris Boucher, Jordan Lloyd. I don't know if you know those guys' names.
Right, Jordan Lloyd was out here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played Summer League together. All of us, we were in Summer League. We were always doing well. And then I think he ended up signing a 2-way contract, and Chris Boucher ended up signing a 2-way contract that year. But with me, at that time, the reason why I picked Chicago was because, I wanted the stability. The 2-way contract right away when you get that, and then Chicago Bulls, that speaks for itself. It's a great program, great team, and I believe in myself no matter where I go that I was going to do well. And so at that time, I was talking with my family and my agents. We were like, we got stability here with the Bulls, and you got the team chemistry with the Raptors. They love you. They love your game, and if you do well, they're gonna just have me work like a little more for what I have right now. So it's like thinking about it. It can go either way.
Right.
But I ended up.
But you never know, right? Like there's guys
exactly.
who get an E10 and like God forbid they get hurt and that's it, right?
Exactly.
You get that 2-way contract that's guaranteed.
Yeah, so that's why I ended up with the stability. I ended up choosing the stability.
Right, for sure. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious, how was it like playing under Nick Nurse? Did you gain a lot of experience with him?
That was my first time like seeing like the NBA style of basketball. He was just threes and layups. That's all he wants. Is
really?
Threes and no mid-range. He was like, in practice, you losing -1 points if you shoot mid-range.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's threes and layups. The game's changing. So he was big on corner threes and layups. That's all you need.
This is 2018?
Yeah, 2018
wow.
is
This
like
is the start.
That's when what's crazy. The Raptors won the championship that year.
Oh, this is Kawhi's year.
Yeah, so I could have won the ring.
Wow.
It's crazy. I think about that sometimes, but it's like, man.
Yeah, no, Nick Nurse, one of the big coaches that have been in, and that's how you can really see how that game has evolved. I mean, even for you, hearing that, we talk about all the time how there's a different level. Of course, you could watch European basketball, college basketball, and then when you get to the pros and you see the guy who's done it, Nick Nurse, who's been the man who's accomplished all these things, and that's his philosophy, his threes and layups. It shows you how much the game has changed.
It's crazy.
And to see what these players have to adapt to.
Yeah.
So speaking, of adaptation, how does that process go of you being able to work through and be and enjoy the fruits of your labor playing for the 2-way and the Bulls and the experience you had in the G League and the actual league, and then that process of understanding and hearing from other players, more experienced players, people around you, what's next? Like, how does that thought come up? What's the process like? And are you constantly talking about other players who've had this experience overseas before you actually make the decision? And what does that process look like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have a lot of good friends that's doing well in the NBA and that was in the same position as me. But I was focused on my circle, my family, and my agent. All of us, we were focused on our own thing more than me. Like I wasn't asking them like their opinions and like what they think, because everyone's story is different. Their case. Uh, One of them probably got drafted and they already have their situation. One is probably thinking about overseas. They have a kid at home. They got to go get money right away. Everyone's situation is different. So I try to stay away from like asking my peers like what do they think, because you know I know some guys that left school to go overseas right away because they wanted the guaranteed money. They went straight to China right after school when they could have probably went to the G League and got an NBA a 10-day, then a 2-way, then converted all the way. So everyone's story is different. So I try to just stay in my circle and just worry about myself. But yeah, yeah.
So at what point during that process, keeping to yourself and understanding that you want to stay locked into what you're doing, did that come to realize that what was next was what you had to make a decision where you were going to sign? And who did that, when you mentioned before, you said, from the second year you had that agent, was he telling you about overseas opportunities while you were still there? Or was it towards the end of that time that you had to decide what you were going to do next?
Yeah, no, I had at that time after summer league. Remember, I told you I had a couple big games in the summer league when I was with the Raptors. There's overseas coaches that come to summer league, and they all like it's a lot of coaches. I remember my coach here, one of the owners of the team at Galil. He was telling me he's been to summer league in Vegas a lot. They always look forward to coming to Vegas for summer league. So I had some overseas opportunities, but I think I told you, as a kid, I always had that dream to be in the NBA, and I was thinking that most people, if they go overseas so early, then it's going to be tougher to get back right away. Especially as a younger guy, I was 18, so I wasn't worried about the money right away. I was worried about my career and doing whatever it takes to reach my goals and reach my dreams. So I think that's why I decided I was gonna either do G League probably or luckily I got the 2-way contract.
That's awesome. It's funny that you mentioned the owners going to the summer league and stuff. It's actually the Nestiona owner or something, coach, went to the summer league, and Josh Azareff was there too. Sorry?
Mayor and either
I don't remember what their name is, but Josh Azareff was there, and Josh Azareff is like texting him at the same time, like, "Yo, this dude Ricky Lindo."
Oh, really?
Like,
Recently?
Yeah, like balling his mind out, and then the next year Ricky Lindo's in Nestiona.
That's crazy.
So it's actually funny. Like a bunch of these overseas guys go to the summer league. Like the Hoopers are. They're crazy, right? There's just such a limited spot in the NBA that people don't see the rest of the guys and where they're playing at now. Like there's guys in every country like balling out of their mind, right? So it's pretty cool. And going back to the Bulls, I want to hear about like a cool story about like, when you played there. What was it like being in Chicago, and also like just tell us how you played that year.
Man, I mean, that's a lot of things that went on that year. It was crazy for me because, I'll tell you guys the truth. It's like I'm a kid from New York City, and, I finally reached my dream to be in the NBA as a 18, 19-year-old person. And I'm not going to lie, I felt like I made it. It felt like I reached everything I wanted, but I didn't know that it was just the beginning. I don't know that, like, you got to put more work in. You got to do more and more. It's like you on the bottom. You're not like you get to NBA, but you're still on the bottom. You're not like right here right away. So I had a lot of learning. It was a learning experience for me for sure. I was used to showing up to practice like 20, 30 minutes before, getting warm, just getting ready, getting stretched, and then starting practice. And then when I got to NBA, I didn't notice, I kept the same thing, I was doing the same thing, but I didn't know you got to show up hours before as a rookie, as a guy on a two-way contract, you like the cheapest player on the team, you know? So it's like, but I didn't know that. That's what, one thing I wish I had a vet to talk to me about that time, and so I know what to expect. But so me, early on in the year with Chicago, I didn't know these things. So I'm showing up to practice like 20 minutes before, and I see Larry Markkinen, my college teammate, but he was a freshman, one and done. So I see him in the gym shooting, working out hours before, like hard. And I'm still thinking I'm on time. I'm good. I'm doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. But then after practice, I have a good practice, and I leave. I see Laurie again in the gym shooting after. So it's like those are little things those are big things, not little things. Those are big things that I learned about being a professional. Is that you have to put in more work. It's not about what you're doing during the time of practice. It's about before that. It's about your diet. It's about how you sleep. It's about a lot of things about becoming a pro. And so my rookie year, when I was a rookie, I wasn't a pro. I didn't know how to be a pro at my rookie year. So I had to learn that stuff, the hard way. Because there's times where I show up with Zach LaVine and I think I'm good, and Zach LaVine is like he's here, and me, I'm the rookie. I'm the guy that's supposed to be the first one in the gym, the last one to leave. So learning that stuff my rookie year was pretty big for me, and I had a meeting with the coach, with the staff and the Bulls, and they told me, they were like, "Do you love basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love basketball. It's my life. It's all I know." And they were like, "So why you don't put in extra work?" And I was just thinking I would have good practices and like stuff that they would want me to do, the shooting sessions they would want me to do, everything. I'm doing good. So I was thinking it was enough in my head. They were like, if you love basketball and you're getting paid to play basketball, then and that's it. It's like 2-3 hours a day, 3-4 hours a day, and then you can do whatever you want. Why not maximize it and do like more to make yourself better? And when I had that conversation with them, I started doing what they were saying more, and I noticed a better development in my game. But at that time, I told you it was crazy. I had a lot. It was a big learning experience for me because I was going to college and I was doing the 30 minutes before thing, and then it was working out for me. But when you're a pro, an actual pro, you got to show up and be a pro like hours before.
Sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you feel like that's attitude and approach has carried over to playing overseas? And have you noticed kind of the different cultures around, you have the NBA, but you're playing for some high level teams overseas as well. So is it similar to that in the fact that you have these guys when you first go overseas to Portugal, correct? That you have these people that are living in the gym at all times, and maybe is that a little easier if you have someone who's maybe Portuguese and is a local and isn't trying to live this life of being in a completely new surroundings?
Yeah, the lifestyle of an NBA player versus the lifestyle of an overseas player is different. At least from the coach's point of view, most of them they believe in work. Work is gonna get the best results. Coming from the NBA, it's like they believe in rest. You're playing 3-4 games a week, so sometimes even back to backs. So some guys they believe in that philosophy. From my experience, this is what I see. They go off of rest is better for them because they're playing more games and they want you to give it your all on the court. And overseas it's different. Like throughout my years of being overseas, the teams I've been on, they were like believing in putting in more work to get the best results, and it works. I mean, sometimes, but then sometimes it don't because you go into the game and you more fatigued than the other team because you had a hard practice the day before, like super hard. So it's like you don't know what. There's no right or wrong answer for this. It's just like an opinion based on the team that you're on. But I think that either way you can't go wrong.
Mm. And after playing that first year overseas in Portugal, you actually ended up coming back to Toronto and you went to the Raptors.
Yes.
So what sparked that decision to go back to the G League? Of course, trying to fulfill the NBA dream again. And what actually made you choose Toronto? Was it the summer league and your experience with them?
Yeah, so after my stint in Portugal, I signed the Exhibit 10 deal, training camp deal with the Pelicans.
Okay.
And then when I was with the Pelicans, I was around all the guys, like all the players and in that atmosphere, and I was learning and getting better every day with Stan Van Gundy. He was the coach. Sorry. And then I think I had a good training camp there, and then when they let me go, you signed with the G League team there, and it was a bubble year, so everybody we were in Orlando in Disney World in the I don't know. You know the G League with the Ignite team, and they had Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green. I don't.
Yeah, the 90, not the 905, one of those. Yeah, G League Ignite.
G League Ignite, but it was in the bubble. It was like all the G League teams was in the bubble for 1 month. It was like you finished the whole season in 1 month. It was crazy. They put us all in hotels.
That definitely took a toll on your body.
Nah,
No?
I mean, he was playing like every other day. That's how it is, like in the G League.
Yeah.
But it was just no travel. It was just like you play the game and then you go upstairs to your room. It's crazy.
Do you think that made you play a little better at in that month because you weren't traveling as much?
I mean, I think it was just basketball. It's the same, yeah. So either way, I think it was gonna be the same. But that was the bubble year, and then after that, I got a chance to meet a lot of great people. Came close with Mike Bibby, and Mike Bibby, he was a guy that was like he big influence on me with Arizona. You know, he's an Arizona guy, and he was just telling me like get paid. Basically, it's like get paid. Like if you're overseas, you know, and in the grinding in the G League, he said if you're good, they're gonna find you. So that's how that was his mindset on it. If you're good, they're gonna find you. Just keep developing. And Devin Booker's dad too, Melvin. I play pickup with these guys. It's funny. I play pickup with them every summer in Arizona in Lifetime. I don't know if you
yeah, we got Lifetime.
You got Lifetime.
Yeah.
So I play pickup with Melvin, a couple of Hall of Fame football players, a guy named Simeon Rice, and all these guys. They keep pushing me. They're like, you like go get paid. Like I keep telling them, like I was pushing the NBA, and talking to these guys. They always push like you should be EuroLeague. You should be doing these things with your career. It's about having a career, not just being like. They asked me questions like, if you can make $1.5 million to be in the NBA on the bench, but you're living your dream in the NBA with no minutes and you're on the roster, or you can make $1 million in EuroLeague or EuroCup or these teams, and you're the star. You're playing a lot of minutes and you have an actual career. What would you prefer? You know? And they looked at me crazy when I didn't have an answer. It was crazy. I didn't know how to answer that question because they're both two good scenarios, but it's like it just depends on your situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that now, as the NBA is even pushing to like an NBA Europe, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
And EuroLeague, EuroCup, Champions League is really becoming on the map, and a lot of people are starting to see what's going on out here. Do you think that some of these guys are not necessarily pushing NBA, and they're kind of thinking in their mind, oh, actually, I might want to go be the star on a EuroLeague team? Is that what you think that's kind of become a reality now?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know too much about the details with the NBA Europe stuff.
Right.
I don't know like the details or what they're planning or what they're trying to do. I know like some EuroLeague teams are trying to go in or join, but I don't really know the specific details. But as a player, you always want to play if you love the game. I love basketball, so I want to play. But at the same time, it's just sometimes you have to wait your moment. One moment, it's all about opportunity, you know? Something happens to a player, now all of a sudden you play 30 minutes in the NBA, you have this big night, and now you are in the rotation, you know? It's tough, but sometimes being in the NBA, you just got to be patient. That's about patience, and even overseas, it's about patience. They have everyone has their own story. Overseas, like these guys, they have their stuff that they're dealing with where they might not know if they're going to play one game, and then they might know, and then they find out the day of the game that they're going to play, or you might not play the whole game, and then last 5 minutes you become the hero of the game, you know? It's tough. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's very different out here. What after your Raptors stint, you decided to go to Germany, right, where you played for two different teams.
Yeah.
So what happened there? Is there like trading
No,
happening?
no,
or
no. So the
yeah.
team bought my contract out. So
Okay.
yeah, so when I went to Germany, I signed with this team called Gießen, and I played 3 games. We played 3 good games. I played 3 games, and I performed well. And then the next team, MHP Reason, they called my agent, and they called that the Gießen, and they asked like, because I had a buyout, so I had a buyout in my contract, and they play Champions League. So it plays more games, and
Right.
you in the international, you more like seen by more teams and stuff. So when I was talking to my agent, I asked him like his opinion on it, and he was like, "You're gonna get more money, and you're gonna get more opportunity and play."
Sounds pretty good.
So he was like, it's a no-brainer. He said Gießen is a great team, and they love you, but Champions League is better look for you for your career. And so when they had bought my contract out, I had signed with them after 3 games, and I finished the season with that team.
How was that like going? Was that your first like Europe, like
Yeah.
Euro Cup, Champions League? What was that like playing in the Champions League atmosphere?
That was my first time playing like that 2 game a week feeling, where it's like you play 1 game in your city that you're in Germany, and then you fly to a different city to play like Cologne. Like I remember we played Cologne, and we actually made the Final Four in Champions League. We beat Cologne in the Final Four
Oh wow.
in Bilbao, Spain. They had good guys on that team. I think they had like Joe Ragland. They had Tyrese McGee, the guy Kaiser.
Yeah, he came
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
Kaiser.
They had those guys on that team in the Final Four when we played them. It was
yeah.
crazy.
Joe Ragland was hooping back then.
Yeah.
What year was that? Did you have to go there? Or did you have to come here, or no? The Final Four format.
We played here in Israel.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
was that your first time coming here and
Yeah.
experiencing that? And it was versus Cologne.
No. We played a game for Champions League here in Israel. That was back when like everyone could fly to Israel for the
Right.
leagues and stuff.
And that was your first time, you said, coming to Israel. So
Yeah.
what was that like? Did you have like any
No,
thoughts
I
about
didn't play
here?
that game. I didn't play that game. I didn't play that game, so I didn't get to feel the atmosphere. I saw the atmosphere. The crowd was crazy.
Is it in
The
Cholon's
fans,
gym?
yeah, the Cologne
Oh,
fans was
yeah.
crazy,
Yeah, they're
man. They were
crazy.
like, that's all my teammates kept talking about. Even when we went to Bilbao in Spain, the fans were crazy. They were,
Yeah, they travel.
yeah,
Crazy. And then you made it to the Final Four with that team in the Champions League.
yeah.
Like,
We finished
talk
top
about
3.
that. What was that like?
I mean, it was battle the whole year. We beat the champions before. We beat Tenerife. Tenerife was the champions of the Champions League that year, and so going into it, we knew we would probably try to face them again in the Champions League, but we lost our first game in the Final Four to Manresa. They had this guy Chima Oneki.
Yeah.
You know Chima Oneki? He's EuroLeague right
yeah,
now.
he's one of the best. He's a top player in the Euro
Yeah,
League.
so he won MVP in the Champions League that year, and then after that, I think he went EuroLeague after. But he went to the Kings, went to NBA after. But he was doing his thing. He was doing well. And when we lost to them, we were like, we had Cologne, because it was like the teams that lost. Cologne lost to Tenerife, and then we lost to Manresa. It was like the bottom teams, they had to play against each other
Third
for
place
the
game.
third place game. Yeah, and then we beat Cologne, and then we got I got the medal and everything. But it was nice. It was a good
That's
experience.
awesome. After the Champions League, you actually decided to go back to the States. You played for
Yeah.
Salt Lake with the Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
What sparked that decision? And is that, again, trying to achieve that NBA dream at that
Exactly.
time?
Yeah, just like you said, like that, trying to reach that goal. You know, I always believe in myself. I'm never gonna doubt myself. You know, I always think if I'm playing against anybody that I can come out on top. So confidence was never a problem for me. After my year in Champions League with MHP Reason, I went home and I was like getting offers from Euro Cup teams, Champions League teams, and all these but not Euro League, but all these other teams. And then I talked to my agent, like, what does he think I should do? And he was like, what is my goal, my ultimate goal? So he was saying, you know, I told him NBA. And then that's when he was like reaching out to teams. And Utah Jazz, they were really interested in me. He was like, they liked your game a lot. But the thing with the Jazz is like, so my game, I like to look at myself as a versatile all-around player. And so did the Jazz. So that's what they were telling me. They were like, we like your game, but we're just trying to figure out what position we can put you in. So when I was in the Jazz, with the Utah Jazz G League team,
Mm-hmm.
they put me in as a point guard. So that was my first experience playing point guard.
Oh wow.
So I played the whole year playing as the point guard. That was my first time ever, like, playing the point guard and playing the 2-3 is
Very different.
Yeah, so I'm controlling everybody. Before, when we going 5-on-0, I used to worry about just where I need to be. Now at the point guard, you got to know where everybody needs to be. I got to know that this guy got to be here, this guy got to be do this. You got to look at clock management.
For sure. How'd you adapt to that?
It was different, but in the beginning, I think I started off really strong, learning it and trusting my coaches and my players, my teammates. They were helping me too. Some of the other players, and because I'm a big guard, so what we would do is we would just switch 1 through 5, and I would guard the team's 5 men, and it was easier for us to like stop teams in the pick and roll at the point guard spot for me. So then it was like we were winning a lot. We were winning a lot of games. It was a great season. I liked it over there. Yeah.
So when you eventually signed with Nessiona after that, this is, as you said before, you mentioned that you switched teams in Germany in the middle. So playing this kind of, when you joined Nessiona and having this kind of consistency of playing for them, tell us a little bit about playing in Israel and the decision to come here specifically, and maybe what's different about playing in Israel that you enjoy now that you're back and have continued playing here that is different from other leagues around the world.
My decision to come to Israel, I'm not gonna lie and say it was like easy decision. It wasn't easy for me because it was a month after the October 7th, a month after the war. Wow. And a month after of the war, I was a free agent in November, and I was talking to my agent at the time, and I was asking him like what's up, what are the like situations and like opportunities for me. And he brought up Israel, and I just seen what was going on, and my agent at the time was Israeli. I think you guys I don't know if you guys know Daniel Hazan.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
Hazan Group, yeah.
Yeah, I was with him.
I think he just bought
Naria, yeah. So he was my agent at the time.
Crazy.
So I was talking with him, and he's telling me Israel, Nessiona. He wanted me to play in there was like an NBA game. Renana was playing against the game. Like all his players.
The Nets, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Nets. Exactly.
That was with Siggers and stuff, right?
So all of his players was playing there. Dwayne Bacon.
Yeah.
Bruno Caboclo. And Trent.
Jason Siggers.
He had a couple players. Yeah. All his players was playing there. He was like, I want you to play here, and then after signing Israel. And at the time I was skeptical. I wasn't skeptical, but I was nervous about coming to Israel, especially after you see all of that. I told my family, and they were more scared than me, So I didn't know what to do because I wanted to play basketball and I wanted to start my season. So talking with my family and talking with my agent, we made the decision to come to Israel. And then when I made that decision, I signed with Nessiona. And then when I signed with Nessiona, it was like another situation where they put me at the point guard and shooting guard. And so, but being the point guard in overseas is different from being a point guard in the G League, or they picking you up full court the whole game, and it's more tactical. Like G League overseas is more tactical than the G League and NBA,
Right.
So they were basically, me and Isaiah was the 1 and 2 on that team. Oh, and Kravitz from Nessiona.
Right. Yeah.
Kravitz, we were the ball handlers and playmakers. So it was a different experience too.
Wow.
So what prompted your decision, I guess, to, instead of maybe trying out a different place to play or going to a different country, as a lot of players kind of hop from place to place, to then come back and sign in Israel again? And so that process, tell us about it and maybe what you enjoyed from being here in Israel that allowed you to think about that and to want to come back for another year.
Yeah, so when I first came to Israel, I didn't know what to expect. And then when I came and you see the beach, you see there's not like the media is portraying it to be. So I'm calling my mom, and she sees me on the beach, and she's like telling me to go home. She's scared because she's thinking like something can happen at any moment. But I'm showing her where I'm at, and she sees it's like Miami, So I told her it's like my first siren. I remember my first siren. I was in the apartment, and I was like thinking the world was about to end for me. That was like a triggering experience for me, and it was scary because You have the safe room, in the
Yeah.
apartment. So I didn't know, like, what was gonna happen to my stuff. Like when you go to the safe room, they say you're gonna be good in this door, but like what's gonna happen to like the other stuff, you know? But I used to have all my stuff in that safe room, like all my clothes, like all my important things. I used to just keep it in the safe room, just in case, you know,
Something happens.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
But I think my time in there, I used to be at this restaurant called Soho. You know Soho? Soho
Which-
Cafe So?
in Rishon. Soho.
No.
No, we know Cafe Zoho, maybe. It's
So
different one.
Soho is like you get a discount from if you're a basketball player. They give you guys 50% off. Though.
Oh,
Every team, every single team.
John plays ball. You
Yeah.
get 50% off.
No, so I used to go there every day, and that was one of my favorite restaurants last year. And I lived across the street from there, so I used to go there every day, eat there every day, and fell in love with the food, the vibes here, and it was fun for me. And I played probably my best season as a pro.
Right. I was actually gonna ask you about that. So
Yeah.
you said like you had that triggering moment, but at the same time you're falling in love with the culture here, and at the same time you're also averaging 16 points a game.
That's what I'm
You're,
saying.
you're going crazy. Probably some of the best ball you played in your career.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, although you had these other moments that might have been triggering, you're also at your most comfortable stage in your career?
Exactly. Because I played with a coach that believed in me. My coach in Neziona, all it really takes is a coach to let you play through mistakes and help you build your confidence. I think anybody that can shoot, anybody that's athletic, anybody that is confident in themselves can be successful, you know? It's just about the opportunity. Everything is really about opportunity. If you can play through mistakes and play with a clear mind, it can change your game a lot. I've been through both sides. I've been through the side where I would make a mistake and then the coach would take me out and it would mess up my head the whole game. And then I've been through stages where I'll make the mistake and I'm like, the coach is like, come on, like next one, you got this. And then I'm like, damn, like, okay, it gives you a little boost of energy.
Right.
Makes you just want to like run 100 miles an hour for him, like, you know, because you know he believes in you. And when he believes in you, if coach believes in you, you start doing some unthinkable stuff. You start doing stuff out of your character sometimes.
Right. And the best coaches say short-term memory, and you play your game. And I think that we've heard that a lot of people feel comfortable with the coaching style here in Israel because coaches, they're good and they're tactical, but they do let you guys play, and a lot of players end up playing really well. But at the same time, I wanted to ask, you came back and now you're playing Galil and you're still cooking, right, in Israel. And is there something about the league specifically that you think helps you thrive?
I think it's about the opportunity. Like I said, everything is about opportunity. But I think Israel is a great place to play. The atmosphere is always good. And as long as I have a coach that believes in me, I think I can be successful. My coach here, he believes in me a lot. My coach, Coach Gooney, this is his first year coaching. And, you know, he loves posting up. He loves post-ups and matchup. That's the thing with him. He's so smart that if it's a matchup problem, if it's a mismatch, he's going to say, forget the play, go straight to the mismatch, you know? Some coaches would see a mismatch and still run the play all the way through. He's big on mismatches and attacking the weakest link and exposing. So if you can't play or if you can't do something out of that good, he's going to try to expose it, you know? That's
super interesting. You're saying that he's a first-year coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also guys like you who are veterans in the ball game. Like, is it kind of tough at sometimes, like, to kind of take in what he's giving you, knowing he's a first-year coach? And is there stuff that you're hearing from him that you haven't heard before, and you're like, oh shit, that's actually like good stuff what he's saying?
No, I think with him, he's very animated, and it's a good thing because he's excited. You could tell he loves his job. You know, you could tell he thinks about this stuff when he goes home. And that's big to have a coach that cares about you and cares about success. Like some coaches, I've been in some locker rooms where they're doing this to get paid. They're not doing this because they love the game. I could tell he loves the game. Like we lose a game, and I could see how much it hurts him, you know, and how much it hurts us. Because when you have a coach that cares like that, you don't want to let them down, you know. So I think his emotions, it works for us and it helps us because, you know, to be honest with you, we was playing all year with 3 Americans. A lot of people don't know that we've been playing with 3 Americans versus guys with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9
It's a huge
Americans.
difference.
And we still competing with these guys. We're still going head to head with these guys like we belong. And that's how we feel. We feel like we could beat anybody. Our team, we have a bunch of great players. Like we have a bunch of great Israelis, great Americans, and Argentinian if you count Lucas. But we just got dogs, man. We think we could beat anybody.
For sure.
Yeah.
And y'all are coming a long way. You guys kind of picked it up. Is there something that towards at this time of the year that you guys feel like you're kind of coming to like a whole and like finding an identity?
Yeah, I think we're getting more so with our team this year, it's like we've been moving. Because we lived in the north. We were living in Hadera.
Yeah.
And we were living in this hotel in Zikon Yaakov. Like I moved probably 2-3 times since I've been here, been back. But I think like because we're back in Galil Leon now, back all the way in the north in Kfar Bloom. I think moving there helped us a lot because the fans, the atmosphere, and just like teams got to travel to come see us now 2-3 hours, and you know it's like that gym. I don't know. It's something about that gym. We only lost one. We lost one game to Maccabi in that gym, but we're like 3-1 in that gym. But we got Jerusalem on the 16th. I think it's gonna be another dogfight. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, ever since we moved back, it's been the whole energy shift, and I think that it's helped us a lot.
That's gonna be an exciting matchup.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Dino.
Got me hyped. Got me ready for that game.
Our last game, it was an overtime battle.
Oh.
We lost by 3 points, 2 points.
Are you guys still guarding each other out here?
But yeah, of course. I mean, we don't match up. That's crazy. I mean, we grew up together for real.
That's wild. It's
That's
a blessing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right. Well, as we're starting to wrap up here, normally we have this segment called the shot clock. We want to give you 24 seconds. Want to ask you some questions, just like questions.
Yeah.
Interested to see how you answer them. So John will set it up. But I know where I'll be on next Wednesday, a week from now, trying to watch that game. I'll be locked in.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll just do 24 seconds. All right, I'll set up a little shot clock here.
All right. Don't worry. Don't stress. Nothing too crazy.
I got you.
How do we do? All right, we'll do it like this.
There we go.
Oh, that didn't work.
Just put it down. We're good.
All right, you got 24 seconds.
Who's going first?
Oh, we all doing it?
Nah, just you.
Oh,
we
just
asked the
you.
questions. You
Wow.
got to
Oh,
answer them.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
Toughest player you've ever guarded.
JJ Redick.
Who's your GOAT?
My GOAT, LeBron James.
Favorite matchup?
Favorite matchup, like team or play? Like
Player.
I don't know.
Dino.
Skip.
Best
Favorite sneaker?
Kyrie's.
best borough in New York.
Brooklyn.
Dream 1v1.
Dream 1v1. LeBron.
Basketball movie.
My favorite basketball movie.
Yeah.
Loving basketball.
Ooh, city.
City.
City in the world.
Favorite city.
Favorite city in the world.
Arizona.
All right, there we
He
go.
just said city.
We'll mix it up.
City. Food.
I was like city.
I said sneaker, city, food, matchup.
Yeah, we gotta practice that. We gotta get some reps.
It's
We
hard
gotta get
because
some
you
reps
have your
in.
questions there. I have to put the shot. Like I don't got any cheat sheet
You're
here.
right. You're right.
Favorite
Yeah.
matchup is tough.
fair.
I don't know. Like,
I thought you were
favorite
gonna for
other
sure say Dino.
Nah, like it's like no rivalry. It's just something that happened like in our life. Something that experience. It was a different, like a mutual experience. you
No,
know?
for sure.
He
Yeah.
tried feeding you the answer,
Yeah,
man. That's
no.
cheating. First of all.
He gonna make an article. Kadeem versus Rawle. It's not like that. We family. It's like it's just basketball.
No, definitely.
No bad press. No, we
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah,
This is a
man.
great time. You're a natural, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So we're happy to have you on here, and you got some great experience, some great stories to tell, and you're great at telling them. So thank you for being
really
with us.
inspiring.
man. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.